Chesterton is a residential town to the north-east of central Cambridge. The site faces Stourbridge Common on the north side of the River Cam. The base map, used as a platform for further systems of analysis, aimed to establish the boundaries of Chesterton through selective detailing. In particular, the 400-metre radius surrounding the Penny Ferry pub was thoroughly detailed, since this figure constitutes what is considered a local pub. On the other hand, the map becomes sparser the further we move away from the Penny Ferry, and only the most relevant buildings are included. For example, the proposed site for a future rail station to the northeast of Chesterton.
We mapped every building in Chesterton with a ground floor public use, and when we were doing this we discovered that the Penny Ferry sits in a residential area itself. We also discovered that there's been a shift in public buildings towards Cambridge itself, and they're mostly situated on Chesterton Road, which is the main high street through the area.
Chesterton's old centre used to be grouped around St Andrew's Church, where Chesterton St George High Street lies. Therefore, you can see the Penny Ferry site has been further cut out from Chesterton's public life.
The main points that came from mapping this were the links between the pubs and footpaths. The Green Dragon pub has a bridge straight from the common, so it's used well. The Penny Ferry appears to have a missing link and has failed as a pub. The map also shows there are a few footpaths along the river in town, but more towards the edge of town. The towpath that stops by the Penny Ferry is used by walkers, as there's a large footpath network in the fens.
Where the Cam flows through the centre of Cambridge, the usage revolves around tourism and punting. Further towards the Penny Ferry, the usage shifts to rowing, with college boathouses lining the river. Overlapping this area and the area around the site, the usage is mainly residential, with houseboats lining the river.
Around the Penny Ferry, the riverbank is mainly stone enforcement. Banks of residential areas have been seen to have tires, wooden panelling, or corrugated aluminium sheets laid over them. There are also passageways going into the banks. Further down the river, the banks are just plantation, soil, and ground growing right into the water. Pollard willow trees grow on the banks around the Penny Ferry too, which are valuable to wildlife. They are home to otters and insects. There are also ramps and slipways, with one ramp especially used to feed cattle.
We looked at the mode house prices in Chesterton, and we divided it into different categories based on the most expensive to the least expensive, and we found that the house prices tend to decrease near Chesterton but increase as you go further towards Cambridge, and there also isn't really a general trend along the river. This has implications for the kind of people who live in Chesterton and who live near the Penny Ferry.
This map shows multiple deprivation in Chesterton and Cambridge. Multiple deprivation indicates an average household's access to food, healthcare, education in one area relative to other areas. It ranges from orange being the most deprived to blue being the least deprived. And from the map it's clear that Chesterton and the area surrounding the Penny Ferry is much, much poorer than the rest of Cambridge. This clearly has led to the decline in the Penny Ferry and businesses in the area, leading to Chesterton being the way it is today.
The pub's locations become more spread out as you move up the river. The Plough pub in Fen Ditton was the furthest pub recorded, with a large outside drinking area and a great view of the river. The centre of Cambridge sees an increase in chain pubs like Wetherspoons. The Tivoli is located next door to the Portland Arms, the Boathouse and the Waterman. And the Waterman doubles up as a bed and breakfast, so it could be argued as a pub catering more for tourists. Most pubs mapped were found on the Penny Ferry side of the river.